Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the channel. What we're going to do in this video is break down the current Overwatch hero meta, and we're going to show you guys who are the strongest heroes and who are the weakest heroes. Now, there is a disclaimer at the top of this video, and this is always the same disclaimer with any kind of tier list when it comes to Overwatch. If you are let's say, a 1,000 hours deep Pharah 1 trick, you should probably continue to keep playing Pharah and not swap off and suddenly try and play McCree. It won't work at the rank you're currently at, and of course it will be projectile going to hit scan, and it's a completely different skill set. So yes, there will be times where you can totally play a hero because you're like a super really good strong player with that hero. Sombra is also another good example of this, and you can make it work. The other thing as well is you have to play what the enemy team are facing up against you with. You can't just blindly play what you perceive to be meta. If the enemy team have got a really weird comp, then you might need to change your comp to deal with that comp. For example, if the enemy team have got a pirate ship Bastion for some reason, you might need to swap the heroes that you're playing to get the job done. Okay, now we've got that out of the way, let's take a look at the tier list. So, pretty self-explanatory on the side here in terms of the tiers we're going to put the heroes in, but there is a very special tier which I'm actually going to use straight away, and this is for Bastion, and this is the F tier, bad tier. Now, the reason for this is the entire team comp depends on Bastion. If your team are not willing to play together, the other 5 players on your team, I mean, this is Overwatch, let's be real, they're probably not willing to play together. If you're Bastion, you're forcing them to protect you, and they don't, it's going to be a problem, and you're going to lose a lot of games. It is not a good hero, and it really damages the game when people one-trick this hero, in my opinion, because it becomes super, super annoying for players to deal with, and often what tends to happen with Bastion is the Bastion player will either get a team that works with them, so they win, or a team that doesn't, so they lose, and they just continue going through that. It's not so much what they're actually doing as a player, which can be kind of annoying. All right then, so we're just going to go through the list here in order that the heroes have popped up, which I believe is in alphabetical order, and throw them in. I might populate the list with a few heroes and then go back and explain why. Heroes that have recently been changed, so as of the last patch, which we are looking at, which I believe is, if I just pull up these details, we have got Echo, so she has been changed, and we've also got Tracer and Zenyatta, but when we get onto them, we will talk about those nerfs. Okay, let's get stuck into this. So, Ana. Where would I place Ana? I would actually place Ana at the moment as a strong pick. I would put Ashe as a S tier. So I'm just going to do a few, then we'll break this down. Batiste in S tier as well. Brig in S tier, definitely. Doomfist is an interesting one. Like, I think I'm probably going to put Doomfist in playable, although this one may change. We'll see. And I'm going to put D.Va into the very weak category for the tanks at the moment. And I'm going to say that is completely down to the fact that Dive isn't really very prominent. And yeah, I guess we can actually put her. So completely ignoring what I said I was going to do, we're going to put Winston next to her because Dive is suffering heavily right now. These two are your quintessential dive tanks, and they have got a huge problem. And of course, we'll finish this with Echo, and then let's explain what we've got so far. All right, then. So Ashe. Ashe is incredibly strong. She's hit scan. Hit scan is very strong right now. In fact, hit scan is probably the best DPS category in the game at the moment. Ashe is one of the best hit scans there is. Maybe you can give McCree as the edge over Ashe at the moment. It's kind of a bit situational. Probably you would give it to McCree just because there's a lot of ball usage, and McCree's very good against ball, where Ashe can't really do anything against ball apart from pour damage into him. But still, she's very strong, and obviously I would consider playing her if you're a hit scan player. Next up, we've got Batiste. Now, Batiste, Lamp, that is all I'm going to say to you guys. He can stop people dying with a standard ability. It is incredibly strong, and it just, well, it stops people dying. He is the best support in the game, effectively, so I wouldn't worry about playing him in your game. You could swap him out with Ana, you could swap him out with Mercy, and it's fine. But yeah, Batiste gives you that get out of the jail card with the Lamp. It is so incredibly strong. So next up, we've got Brig. All right, then. So why is Brig here? Now, I'm going to just throw something out here. I believe Brig Ball Zarya is very strong. When they're on the same team together, they are incredibly strong. Now, if the enemy team's got a ball, well, who can stop the ball? That's right, Brig. But Brig is just incredible with Repair Pack, the way she can throw it at range, and it does great healing at range. She's very survivable. She can knock people away with a whip shot. She's got great AoE healing. She can always trigger this when Ball is diving on top of it. And remember, Ball is in pretty much every game because he is the best tank in the game by an absolute mile. So Brig, yeah, I am really, really, really liking Brig. In fact, let's throw Zen. So I reckon Brig, Zen, Zarya, and Ball, those it's very, very strong. Of course, Zarya, because she can bubble ball, which is really strong, gives you a ton of ultimate charge. And talking of ultimate charge, I'm hoping that at some point Blizzard do allow us to actually generate ultimate charge off doing damage to adaptive shields on ball, because the fact we can't do that is actually criminal and makes ball incredibly survivable. All right, then next up is Echo. Okay, so Echo has been nerfed, and this is the nerf. Ammo has been reduced from 15 to 12 from her primary fire, and focusing beam duration has been reduced from 2.5 seconds to 2 seconds. None of this matters. She is still incredibly strong. She can still delete tanks from the game. She can do massive spam damage. She can just cycle her cooldowns. The problem with Echo is she can do everything, and she's very survivable. She is incredibly strong. And what makes her different with Pharah, because I've noticed a lot of Pharah players compare Echo to Pharah, is Echo, well, she can survive on her own. Pharah needs that mercy. Without the mercy, Pharah is incredibly weak. Echo can still be played without that mercy. If you get the mercy, it's just an added bonus. So she is mega strong. She can delete low HP targets, delete barriers, delete tanks, massive long range spam, massive close range damage, highly maneuverable. Excellent. Just an excellent, excellent hero all around. Anna in the strong pick category. Yeah, I mean, Anna is very, very good. You've got your highest potential burst healing output from Anna. You have got great utility with sleep. Again, that's good against ball if you can catch him. Great anti-nade. Again, if ball comes in, you're going to anti-nade him. Maybe if you've got it up, you're going to put him to sleep. There's a lot you can do. I mean, anti-nading ball as he comes in probably isn't the optimal strat, but you can still sleep him. You've got your long-range healing. Your Anna, you can nade yourself, so you probably won't die from ball as he jumps on top of you. So she's pretty good, right? As you can see, a lot of what I'm talking about, guys, is based around ball, because ball is incredibly, incredibly strong. Doomfist. All right, okay, Doomfist. Doom. Now, the issue with Doomfist, and we'll kind of get onto this in a second as you see me populating the S tier, is a lot of the heroes that deal with ball deal with Doomfist. And that's a problem. So if you've got a ton of stuns on the field, it's a bad time for Doomfist. So Doomfist is actually there's maybe an argument for putting Doomfist into C, not optimal. But I still think he's playable, because a good Doom player, you can get into the back line. If you can wipe out the enemy back line, you're going to do a lot of damage. And he's still pretty good against almost every tank, apart from Roadhog. And yeah, I don't know. I'm going to leave him as playable. Doomfist is, again, one of those heroes where if you're a specialist player, you'll get a lot done with Doomfist. So I wouldn't worry too much. Okay, let's carry on with this list. So Genji, I am going to put in... See, I'm going to put Genji in playable. Genji could be in not optimal as well. Exactly the same reasons as Doomfist, to be fair. A lot of stuns on the field. Hard for him to get value if people are spread out. If there's Brig on the enemy team, Batiste even as well. There's a lot of issues. And McCree. The issue these two have got, it's pretty much the same issue, right? A lot of the heroes that are strong counter these heroes, so they have a really rough time getting any kind of work done. But still, a good old Nano Blade, you know, you can't go wrong with that. It probably will win you a lot of fights in Overwatch. So yeah, still super strong. And apparently I'm still logged into Overwatch, if you guys heard that sound effect. In fact, no, I can delete that in editing. I apologize. All right, let's move on. So, Hanzo, oh lord, projectile. I'm going to put Hanzo. Oh, all right. Hanzo is a really... Okay, let's just go for this. Let's put a bunch in. Okay. Okay, all right, let's go with what we've just added. So McCree, obviously, for reasons I've outlined, McCree's very good. McCree's hit scan, so he does a lot of damage. McCree has got a stun, so he can shut down ball. Yeah, McCree's just good. McCree is in a really good place right now. He's very strong. If you can aim, you should be playing either McCree or Ashe. Widowmaker on an outside chance, but the issue with Widow is you've got ball on the field, and he will shut you down if he's got half a brain cell, so you've got to really watch out for that. So yeah, McCree, I think we've all said and done on McCree. Now, Mercy is really strong right now. You can, I mean, these supports here, you can just interchange them. So, well, I guess these three. So your Brig, your Anna, your Mercy. I don't care which one you play, but if you've got one on your team is doing things right. Then you can either throw a Brig or a Zen in. In terms of the other supports, if we just jump down a second, you've got your Lucio. He is the weakest support in the game right now. And it's a shame. It makes me really sad because, again, this is a casualty of dive comp not being very strong. It's a casualty of Lucio not being able to actually heal. When you look at power creep and Overwatch and how fast people die, Lucio just doesn't have the answers to this. And his ultimate, if I'm totally honest, is probably the weakest support ultimate in the game at the moment, which is really, really sad because Lucio is an incredibly, well, he's a fun hero to play. Keeping with the supports, if we look at Moira, yeah, like Moira's problem, again, is she doesn't have the ranged healing capability the other three sort of main healers in terms of main healing output have got. Mercy's obviously highly mobile, can get in and heal most people. Batista's ranged healing, and so is Ana. Moira doesn't have this, so she's suffering in that regard. If the meta starts swinging back to brawly comps, then yeah, you will see Moira coming back into the game a bit more because, of course, she's got massive short-range AoE healing output. Mei, okay, let's go back up the list from the bottom. So Mei, all right then. The problem with Mei is Mei suffers again from brawl comp not being particularly strong at the moment. She, yeah, she can work okay against ball, but she doesn't have the consistent damage output of other projectile DPS in the game. And she's just kind of a one-trick pony at the moment. She needs to catch ball, or she needs to, you know, pretty much be with a team that is super brawly, super tanky, rolling in, which we're just not seeing Reinhardt getting played a lot, and that's an issue, right? So your Mei, yeah, she can work on certain maps as well, which I must say, Overwatch meta is in the best possible space when it is, or even the best possible place, when it is map dependent, not just this is a meta comp and we just run it on every single map. That's not how the game should be. And for a very brief period, I think back in October last year, Overwatch was like that, and then they changed it for some reason. But yeah, interesting stuff. All right, Junkrat, not optimal. Yeah, Junkrat is map specific, and I wouldn't run him all the time, but I would run him on Temple of Anubis, and I think that kind of sums it up. I wouldn't play him on Junkertown, for example. That'd not be great, especially on Junkertown first point. Second point, he might be all right. Third point, maybe, but first point, nah. That's the problem with Junkrat. Similar to Symmetra, they're very strong on certain maps, and in other maps, they're just not very strong. So yeah, he's not optimal, but he can work. Hanzo gets a buff for some reason. Nobody knows why Hanzo's Storm Arrows were buffed. And then Hanzo got an in-game event. So if you're a conspiracy theorist, you can be like, well, actually, the reason for this is they were giving him an event sty, so they wanted to drum up interest in Hanzo players to get them back into the game. I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. He is the best projectile DPS in the game if you ignore Echo. Yeah, he can just wreck shields. So if anyone's on the playing field, like if for some reason the enemy team want to roll double barriers, you break out your Hanzo, you break out your Echo, and you delete those barriers. Now, the only issue with Hanzo, and why I'm not putting him as a strong pick or even very meta, is he is considerably weak when he does get attacked by Ball. And again, this goes back to seeing Ball in every single game. Hanzo can't really deal with Ball. Yes, you can pour damage into him, but Ball can get on top of you, and he can kill you quite consistently in a 1v1 scenario. So you've got to be very careful with that. And of course, Hanzo always suffers from slightly inconsistent DPS, but he's still a strong pick. You land your hits as Hanzo, you're going to get a ton of kills, which is mega strong. Okay, let's go back through the list and start populating again and just see where we can get with these other heroes. All right, let's go for this. So, I think Orisa is an interesting one, and I'm going to go for Playable. Pharah, I'm going to go for not optimal. I'm probably going to put Reaper in that spot as well. Now, Reinhardt is a sad case, and I don't want to say he's very weak. I'm going to kind of put him there for the moment. I'm also going to put Hog in that category. Sigma, you're going back up there. All right, then, let's go through the ones we've just selected. So, Sigma. He was nerfed recently, so it now takes him longer to redeploy his barrier, but it doesn't kind of matter. The thing with Sigma, he can do damage, he can throw his barrier out. Okay, it will get destroyed quick, but also he can then use his suck ability to delete damage as it's being fired at him and convert it into personal shields. And his ultimate is incredibly strong. It will win fights. So what we've got is a tanky hero capable of high damage output that can stop damage coming into him and into his team and has a game-winning ultimate. Say no more. He is overtuned still. He is very strong. He is pretty much, him and Ball, very strong tank picks, but when you play them together, might not be super strong. That's where Zarya can come in with Ball. But Ball is the one to play if you can play him as a tank player. Next up, let's take a look at Orisa. So, yeah, she's playable, and she is fairly map-specific. Like, you can use her on certain points, and she can be at certain points of some maps. Like, Ilios is kind of coming to mind. Obviously, with the well, you know, you can kind of use your suck ability. Problem is, her barrier does get destroyed really quick, which I think is fair and fine. I don't have an issue with that. But it's just like she's very stationary. She doesn't really move. She's not very mobile. And that's the problem with the hero. She's not really going to be with any kind of team push. If your team are moving quickly, she doesn't really work very well with ball. Yeah, a lot of issues with the hero, but she's still playable because she's still quite strong when you look at her actual kit. Mini grab, very, very strong. Of course, halt. Barrier can work. You know, it's fine. Her shift ability where she can just reduce incoming damage and she can't be stunned. Okay, that's fine. Her ultimate. Now, it's really strong, the ultimate of Orisa. That damage boost to the team from Bongo is very, very strong. And the fact that she can almost drop it and stand on top of it, drop a barrier around it and protect it, it is very strong. So, yeah, she's a bit of a weird one at the moment as a tank, but she's still playable. I wouldn't completely throw her out of the window. Definitely a playable hero. All right, then let's go through to Reaper. Yeah, this is just the same as Junkrat, really. The problem with Reaper is if the enemy team are not running a brawl comp, so they're not using your Reinhardt, your Lucio to get your Reinhardt into place. Just think of tanky heroes together. If they're not doing that, Reaper is the anti-tank hero, and he can't really do anything. Reaper's problem right now is ball. He can't really do anything against ball unless somebody else stuns him. So ball will come in, maybe hit the team. If Reaper's there, yes, sure, he does a lot of damage to him at close range, but ball will just roll away, and it won't matter. So Reaper is very, very situational, but he's even more so situational than everybody else, I suppose, we've spoken about so far, because he depends on the enemy playing a certain comp. And if they're not doing that, then you're not going to get much value with the Reaper. Right then, Reinhardt. So Reinhardt's been buffed, if we look at it this way. And the reason Reinhardt has been buffed is Echo's been nerfed and Zenyatta has been nerfed. And we'll get on to, well, we'll go through Zen's nerf now because we're talking about it. So Zen, projectile speed has been reduced from 120 to 190 for Orb of Harmony, which means it takes longer for Orb of Harmony to travel from Zen to the target to start healing it. But the main reason why Reinhardt has been buffed is because Orb of Discord, that now moves at a speed of 90 instead of 120, so it's slower, but damage amp from it is only 25% instead of 30. That means you survive 5% longer from sustained damage. Really doesn't make much of a difference when the game's in flow, but you are slightly more tanky. Yeah, problem with Reinhardt. I always say this, don't I, with Ryan? Look at Ryan, look at Sigma. Sigma does everything. Ryan either defends or does damage. He's so one-dimensional. He's an ancient old hero. I wish Blizzard could do something to help him because he's my favorite tank to play. He's just not optimal. But if you do have a brawl comp, hey, play Reinhardt, right? Or if you're playing on Command Center and Lijiang Tower, Reinhardt can be okay if you've got maybe a Mei on your team, because the Mei might be walling them off as they're coming through, pretty much the only choke they can basically attack through, although there is 2 other chokes. But teams never use them. Anyway, Roadhog. Yeah, Roadhog. Like, Roadhog can work well when he's paired with an Orisa. Roadhog can just work well anyway. Roadhog is I want to say he's not optimal, because if you to ask me what was the optimal tank lineup, I'm going to go Ball Zarya or I'm going to go Ball Sigma. But you could just go Ball Hog. It's fine. Hog can he's a ladder warrior. If you're flanking like crazy, getting picks, getting kills, hey, who cares? And also, Hog is pretty good against the enemy ball, so when he comes in, Hog can hook him and make his life slightly annoying. He won't kill him because he'll get away. But yeah, Roadhog, he's okay. I wouldn't worry about Roadhog. Again, if you've got loads of hours of playtime on him, you know you can get work done with him. Just get out there and play Roadhog. It is all groovy, baby. All right, then, let's move on to some other selections. Okay, I'm going to put... yeah, I'll put Soldier in playable. I mean, yeah, it would be my bias putting him into any other tier than that, I think. He's simply there because he is hitscan. And he can just output a lot of damage, basically. And yeah, he's not going to get the kills McCree and Ashe are going to get because they're very effective at securing kills. Soldier, though, outputs a load of damage. And yeah, he's fine. He's fine. He's okay, Soldier. He's not going to rock the world. If you do play Soldier, you might be better off playing Ashe in most scenarios, or definitely a McCree. But then again, I play a lot of Soldier myself, so should I take my own advice? Well, no, sometimes I just like to play Soldier, so there you go. All right, then, let's move on. So Sombra, I'm going to put Sombra into the not optimal tier, simply because... okay, so Sombra's a weird one. Sombra is good against Ball, which I keep banging on about in this video, but you got to stress Ball is very strong, because if she hacks him, he's dead. So it's going to make the Ball player think about what the hell is going on. Now, the other component to her is pretty much what Bastion suffers from, in that you need the team to play with you. You need to be able to coordinate EMPs. If you can't, then you're not going to win. If you can't coordinate hacks, then you're not going to win. So Sombra, it comes down to the type of player. If you're very communicative, if you let your team know before you go in and use EMP and all of that good stuff, yeah, she can work. She can actually be higher tier than this. And in fact, maybe she will start coming into the meta a little bit more if Ball remains as strong as he does. But yeah, I don't know. She's still okay, but she's not optimal. All right, let's take a look at Torb. Oh, you know what? I really like Torb. You know what? I'm going to put Torb as a strong pick. And the reason why is Torb, his turret, oh, Lord, I love the turret. But Torb has got very high point-blank burst damage when he pops his molten... What's it called? I always forget what it's called. It's when he increases attack speed. And when you're using alternate fire, then the shotgun damage at close range is massive. He's got an actually fairly decent ultimate. Long range spam damage with his primary fire, that's fine. His turret is super annoying. And if you've got like a ball rolling around the map, the turret can be quite annoying. And also the turret can be annoying to other flankers as well. Tracer as such. So actually, I kind of like Torb. Maybe I'll put him as playable. No, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to leave Torb as a strong pick. I think he's good, Torb. I do honestly, genuinely think he's good. Okay. Tracer. Okay. Now, this one is an interesting one. So Tracer has been nerfed. So the min-max damage fall-off has been rescaled from 13 to 23 meters, down from 12 to 20. What this means is that she needs to get closer now to tanks to spam them. So before, she could spam tanks at a little bit of a longer range, and it was still fine. She was still doing good damage, still getting good ultimate charge. In every other scenario, she has just not changed. If you're playing her as a flanker, if you're coordinating with your ball and you go in at the same time, it's going to be absolutely disgusting. If you just harass the enemy backline, disgusting it's going to be as well. Yeah, she is really strong. But the thing with Tracer is I think she's probably the highest skill cap hero in the game. And when you get a really good Tracer player, it is an absolute nightmare for the enemy team. If you've got one on your team, and if they've got one, well, yeah, it's a nightmare for you. So, I don't know, saying she's very meta, maybe I'll put her as a strong pick, actually. No, I'm just going to leave her. I'm going to leave her as very meta, because I think she is strong. And if you look at Ball, Zarya, Zen, Brig, I mean, Zen, Brig, that is going to be spicy, as I said, but maybe if you go Ball, Zarya, Zen, throwing your Tracer into this mix, then you fill the rest of the slots out. She's going to be pretty strong. And again, you'll notice I'm talking about Zen as if he's not really changed, even though he's been nerfed. Yeah, that's kind of the case. So I'm going to leave her there for now. I think she's really strong. Okay, Widow. Widow's playable if they don't have a ball and you can aim. And that's about it. Map specific as well. If you're on Junkertown, she's going to do a lot of damage on first point. Yeah, I mean, like, you throw in any assault map here. If your Widow gets a pick on the attack, that's super strong, right? You just go in. So Widow, yeah, she's playable. She's playable. Ball, yep. We don't even need to talk about Ball. He's got massively high survivability. He is super annoying. He's great in 1v1 against loads of heroes. High damage output when you get the combos right. You're slamming, you're doing damage. Needs to be nerfed. He is a ridiculously strong hero. Super fun to play, but a ridiculously strong hero. Zarya, I'm going to say she's a strong pick, just because I think she works really well with Ball. It's very easy for her to get charged, protecting her own ball. When there isn't a lot of shields on the enemy team, Zarya can do a lot of damage. When she's fully charged, she's just lasering down the enemy team. So, yeah, I mean, Zarya Ball, I really like that combination. So, I'm going to put her in strong pick. And finally, we've got Zen. And Zen is really strong as well. Yes, he's been nerfed, but Zen is still really, really strong. You see, the thing is with Zen, if Ball is this super ultra meta pick out of all the heroes, and is in some ways dictating the meta, Zen is a counter to Ball because you need Discord Orb on the ball to wreck him down fast. But Discord Orb's been nerfed, so this buffs Ball. You see where I'm going with this? It's really weird. But Zen is really good when Trace is being played because he can heal her quite well. But his healing output's been nerfed, but it kind of doesn't matter. But Trace is also really good against the Zen. Right? You see where I'm going with this? And it's like, this is where, again, she might be slightly higher if you want to go down that sort of ideology, I guess. But yeah, I think this right now is the February meta for Overwatch, at least at the start of February. Things might change with other balance patches. But let me know what you think about this in the comments below, guys. I've been Stylosa, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Remember, you can follow me on @Stylosa on Twitter. I'm also @StylosaUL on TikTok, and on Instagram, I'm @Stylosa as well, if you like some quality Overwatch memes. But yes, thank you for watching the video, guys. It's been my pleasure as always, and yeah, I will catch you lovely lot on the next one. Toodaloo.